ನುವೈನಿನ್ ಸತ್ತ ಕೆನ್ಸರು ಬಲಿ ಅಶಾರೆನ್ ಸತ್ತ ಅದಿ ಹಕುರು ಬಲಿ ಹೈನಿನ್ ಸತ್ತ ಮಿಫದ ಬಲಿತಕ ಕಿ ಮ್ಯಾಗಣು ಗೊತೆಗ್ಗ ತಿಮಾಗೆ ಜಾತಿ ದಿರಿಯುಳ್ಮುಗೆ ಆದಕಾದತಕ ವಶಾಗೆ ಮಾ ಹೌಲಾ ಸೀದಾ ಗುಳುಂ ಹುರಿ ಬಲಿತ ಮಿಗುತುಂ ಕೇನ್ ಬೊಯ್ಮುಗೆ ನುರಂಗಳು ಆದತಕ ಹೆಲಿಫೆಲಿವೆಗಳು ಮದುಮಾ ದುಂಫತ್ ಕೆ ಇಸ್ತಿಮಾಲ್ ಕುರುಂ ಅದಿ ರಾಬುಯಿನ್ ಫದ ಆದಕಾದತಂ ಹಿಮೆನೆ
Making headlines this hour, President Dr. Muizu unveils a sweeping set of budgetary and administrative reforms aimed at bolstering the capacity and influence of Women's Development Committees (WDCs) across the Maldives. President Dr. Muizu announces a comprehensive reform to the fiscal block grant formula used to allocate funds to local councils, aiming to correct structural imbalances that have disadvantaged islands with small populations but large geographic footprints. First Lady Sajida Muhammad delivers a stirring address at the annual award ceremony of Ahmadiyya International School, emphasizing the crucial need for every student in the country to embody local and Islamic identity and qualities.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. Now the news in detail. President Dr. Muhammad Muiz unveils a sweeping set of budgetary and administrative reforms aimed at bolstering the capacity and influence of Women's Development Committees, WDCs, across the Maldives. The changes, which will be reflected in the 2026 state budget, include a doubling of financial allocations, a revised mechanism for Ramadan allowances, and a broader reassessment of the fiscal formula governing block grants.
The announcement, made via the President's official X account, confirmed that WDCs will receive 10% of council budgets beginning in the 2026 fiscal year, up from the current 5%. This increase is intended to strengthen the committee's operational reach and reinforce their role in local governance. Adjustments to member compensation were also outlined, with Ramadan allowances set to be issued directly from council budgets beginning next year, replacing the previous practice of drawing from WDC's operational funds. Introduced only last year under the administration of President Muizu, the allowance has now been elevated to the status of an official salary, reflecting the government's formal recognition of committee members' contributions. These reforms align with President Muizu's broader agenda, which places particular emphasis on empowering WDCs and island councils as pillars of decentralized governance. The timing of the announcement coincides with preparations for the 2026 state budget. As part of this process, the Ministry of Finance and Planning is reviewing the fiscal formula that determines block grants, an essential source of funding for local councils. Councils have been instructed to submit detailed medium-term budgetary information by 18 September. Once submissions are received, the proposed budget will be presented to the Cabinet of Ministers between 19th and 23rd October. The final estimated state budget for 2026 is scheduled for submission to Parliament on 30th October.
President Dr. Muhammad Muiz announces a comprehensive reform to the fiscal block grant formula used to allocate funds to local councils, aiming to correct structural imbalances that have disadvantaged islands with small populations but large geographic footprints. The revised formula, set to be introduced in the 2026 state budget, will incorporate island size as a key factor in determining allocations.
Under the current system, which relies primarily on population figures, many councils receive insufficient funding to manage essential municipal services. Islands with fewer residents often span considerable land areas, requiring substantial resources for cleaning, maintenance, and infrastructure refurbishment. This mismatch has led to reduced per capita funding, limiting councils' ability to hire adequate staff and offer fair wages to municipal employees. The President confirmed that the revised formula will be formally presented as part of the 2026 state budget. Block grants are a critical financial instrument for councils, enabling them to carry out development work and maintain public infrastructure. These services, often managed by contract employees, include the upkeep of public spaces and general municipal operations. Councils have long reported that the current formula hampers their ability to meet these demands. Municipal workers and council members have consistently raised concerns about inadequate compensation, attributing the issue to the limitations of the existing budgetary model. The proposed changes are expected to ease these constraints, allowing councils to expand their workforce and adjust wages for current employees. The reform is projected to improve the delivery of services across island jurisdictions. President Muizu also announced a separate initiative to strengthen Women's Development Committees (WDCs). These changes, which will also be reflected in the 2026 state budget, including a doubling of financial allocations and a revised mechanism for Ramadan allowances.
First Lady Sajida Muhammad delivers a stirring address at the annual awards ceremony of Ahmadiyya International School, emphasizing the crucial need for every student in the country to embody local and Islamic identity and qualities.
Describing Ahmadiyya as an educational tree with a profound history, the First Lady lauded its role in bearing sweet fruits for the nation, evidenced by its students' consistent national achievements and proud results. She underscored education as both a great blessing and responsibility, encouraging students to embrace it as a never-ending journey and to remain true to themselves. Her address meticulously outlined the virtues she wished to see in every child, including honesty, respect for Islam, unwavering loyalty to the country, good character, diligence, and an open-minded Muslim outlook. She asserted that these principles would not only secure the happiness of both worlds, but also pave the way for true freedom and foster intelligent and modern-day leaders who will serve as a shelter for humanity. Further elaborating, the First Lady stressed that students who internalize these values will find honesty and loyalty becoming their most valuable asset. She then turned to parents and teachers, urging them to contemplate the real needs of education and to actively shape students as Muslim Maldivians. She concluded, this crucial development necessitates consistent positive examples within both the home and wider society, ensuring that the next generation is not only academically proficient, but also morally grounded and civically engaged in accordance with their Islamic heritage. During the ceremony, Ahmadiyya School celebrated academic excellence and multifaceted achievements. The ceremony honored a remarkable 64 students who placed in the top 10 globally and nationally in various A-level subjects last year, alongside numerous other achievers recognized for their accomplishments at international, national, and school levels. Among the school's top performers, Aishat Insha Imran from grade 10A was specially acknowledged as the overall best student across all categories, while dedicated teachers who played a pivotal role in these successes were also appreciated and rewarded. Established in 1982 to provide essential educational opportunities for the students of Machangole ward in Male, Ahmadiyya School has since become a beacon of learning. From its humble beginnings with approximately 200 students, the institution has burgeoned to educate over 2,700 students last academic year, providing a comprehensive education from preschool to higher secondary levels. The school's legacy extends beyond academics, boasting a track record of success in various extracurricular activities both within Maldives and internationally.
Since taking office, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has distinguished his presidency through a relentless commitment to grassroots engagement, prioritizing direct visits to islands across the Maldives.
The President's purpose is unequivocally noble: to observe the living conditions of the populace firsthand, identify the specific challenges councils face in driving rural development and progress, and attentively listen to local concerns. While many leaders engage in similar visits, President Dr. Moisu's unique emphasis lies not just on listening to grievances, but on actively finding and implementing solutions, a promise he is demonstrably fulfilling. A significant manifestation of this approach is the President's swift action on the block grant system, a crucial budget allocation from the government for council-led development and municipal services. Having listened to the concerns of various councils, President Moiso has initiated a profound change. From next year, the budget for block grants will be determined by the physical size of the island rather than solely its population. This pivotal decision directly addresses the plight of large, often sparsely populated atolls that, despite smaller populations, face substantial municipal works and higher expenditure for cleaning and maintenance across their expansive land areas. As Minister of Cities, Local Government and Public Works, Adam Sharif Umar highlighted in a post on his social media handles, this reform is instrumental in financially empowering councils, fostering sustainable income generation, and strengthening the decentralization system by bringing practical character to their proposals. This revised fiscal formula will be formally presented with the 2026 budget. In another move to address council concerns and bolster economic activity, the government has, for the first time, allocated uninhabited islands to councils for economic utilization. These decisive actions underscore President Dr. Moiso's policy of responsive governance, directly transforming local voices into tangible policy changes that empower communities and ensure more equitable and effective regional and national development.
The state collects more than $142.8 million in airport taxes and fees as of August, a 46% increase over the same period last year.
The surge in revenue, detailed in the Ministry of Finance and Planning's latest weekly fiscal development report, is attributed to a combination of increased tourist arrivals and higher tax rates. According to the report, the government received a total of $142.8 million from Airport Development Fee (ADF) and departure tax as of 28 August this year. This marks a substantial increase from the $97.3 million collected during the same period the year prior. The revenue growth was driven by a rise in both individual tax categories, as the government collected $71.3 million in departure tax between 1st January and 28 August. This represents a 52.5% increase compared to the $48.4 million collected during the same period in the prior year. Similarly, the ADF brought in $71.3 million, a 51.5% increase over the $49.4 million received as of 28 August of the previous year. The ADF is levied on all passengers departing from Velana International Airport (VIA), having been implemented on 1st May 2017. The updated tax figures reflect new rates that went into effect on 1st December last year. The specific charges vary depending on the passenger's class of travel and citizenship status. Certain individuals are exempt from these charges. Those with diplomatic immunity, transit passengers, and children under the age of 2 are exempt from the departure tax. Exemptions for the ADF include individuals with diplomatic immunity and direct transit passengers. The ministry's report shows that the surge in airport-related revenue is consistent with broader positive trends in the country's tourism sector. Increased tourist arrivals have directly contributed to the higher collections from airport taxes and fees. This financial data underscores the vital role of the aviation sector in supporting state revenue, driven by a post-pandemic rebound in travel and strategic adjustments to tax policies.
The Ministry of Tourism and Environment intensifies its efforts under the government's flagship 5 million tree planting program, initiating the distribution of Havakaru teak saplings to 7 atolls in the sweeping bid to strengthen the nation's environmental defenses and address the growing threat of climate change.
Launched on 5th June last year by President Dr. Mohamed Moizu, the program is a cornerstone of the administration's strategy to restore the Maldives' natural landscape and expand its green cover across the country. To carry out the latest phase, the Environment Ministry has appointed the Maldives Transport and Contracting Company, MTCC, to deliver saplings to islands in the Wavu, Fafu, Nunu, Lamu, Ta, Gaf Alif and Gaf Dal atolls. The teak tree, once widespread in the region, has been identified as a species at risk of disappearing. Its reintroduction is central to the government's ecological restoration efforts. The initiative reflects a broader national commitment to environmental stewardship. Beyond increasing vegetation, it is designed to mitigate the intensifying effects of atmospheric shifts and climate disruption on the low-lying island nation. Support for the campaign has extended beyond national borders. Sri Lanka has donated a substantial number of teak saplings, which are being planted not only on inhabited islands but also at resorts and designated zones surrounding airports. The Environment Ministry has previously outlined its vision for Haibakuru trees to serve as distinctive landmarks across all islands, symbolizing a unified effort towards environmental renewal. Progress has been steady. More than 650,000 trees have already been planted under the program. While the original target was 5 million, officials now anticipate the total could reach 6.4 million, citing sustained momentum and strong participation from private companies offering significant assistance.
Tesla's TSLA.O board proposes a $1 trillion compensation plan for CEO Elon Musk in what would be the largest corporate pay package in history, underscoring the hold Musk has over the car maker as it attempts to transform into an AI and robotics powerhouse.
The world's richest person has consistently said he needs more of a stake in the company, even as a legal battle over his 2018 pay package, then valued at a mere $56 billion, continues. The regulatory filing puts Musk on a different plane than other technology executives, saying that, quote, traditional compensation packages granted to executives at other companies were determined to not be appropriate for designing Mr. Musk's incentive compensation, unquote. The proposed plan would grant Musk up to 12% of Tesla's stock, worth about $1.3 trillion if the company hits its target market value of $8.6 trillion. The plan requires boosting Tesla's valuation nearly eightfold, or about $7.5 trillion over the next decade. If fully earned, the award would materially increase Musk's voting power from his roughly 13% stake, intensifying debate over governance and succession.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy. Chainsaw!
Musk would receive no salary or cash bonus under the proposal, with the compensation is tied to stock awards that vest only if Tesla meets both market cap and operational targets, such as selling millions of EVs, deploying robotaxis, and delivering AI-powered humanoid robots. The company's shares were up about 2% in pre-market trading. Tesla's board earlier this year approved an interim compensation package for CEO Elon Musk worth about $29 billion in restricted stock, designed to keep him at the helm through at least 2030 as the company pivots to an AI-first strategy. Tesla moved its corporate base from Delaware to Texas in 2024 after a Delaware judge twice voided Musk's 2018 package. The appeal remains pending at the state Supreme Court.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says in an ex-post quote, "Deeply appreciate and fully respect President Trump's sentiments and positive assessment of our ties," unquote.
Earlier on 5th September, Trump told reporters at the White House that he would always be friends with Narendra Modi, and India and the United States have a special relationship. Modi further said in his ex-post that India and the US have a very positive, forward-looking, comprehensive and global strategic partnership. This comes after President Trump's earlier post on his Truth Social account that read, quote, Looks like we've lost India and Russia to deepest, darkest China. May they have a long and prosperous future together. And accompanied a picture of Modi, Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Chinese President Xi Jinping walking together.
I think Prime Minister Modi obviously attaches enormous importance to our partnership with the United States. And where President Trump is concerned, he's always had a very good personal equation with President Trump. But the point is, look, we are engaged, we remain engaged with the United States, and at this time, I can't say more than that. But that's really what I would say.
Xi hosted more than 20 leaders of non-Western countries for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO summit in the Chinese port city of Tianjin, including Russian President Vladimir Putin and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Putin and Modi were seen holding hands at the summit as they walked toward Xi before all three men stood side by side.
U.S. men's national team coach Mauricio Pochettino says that Son Heung-min's arrival in Major League Soccer will lift the league's profile and level of play.
In June, Pochettino said players cannot pick and choose which games they will be available for. After forward Christian Pulisic skipped the CONCACAF Gold Cup but offered to play in a pair of friendlies. Pulisic, who played 50 games for AC Milan in the recently concluded season, said he would miss the Gold Cup to rest and recover, with former US stalwarts Landon Donovan and Alexi Lalas among those who criticized the decision. Pulisic told the CBS Sports podcast in June that he had asked to play in the friendlies against Turkey and Switzerland, but was not involved in those matches because Pochettino wanted a consistent squad heading into the Gold Cup. The AC Milan winger said he did not understand the head coach's decision, while adding that those questioning his commitment to the national team were way out of line. On 5th September, Pochettino said his issue with Pulisic is in the past. Tottenham Hotspur's long-serving executive chairman Daniel Levy is stepping down from his role after nearly 25 years. Levy, known for his tough negotiating style, has often been a source of frustration for fans who blame him for failing to pay the wages that would deliver players capable of delivering Tottenham's first English top-flight title since 1961. Defender Sergio Dest, back from injury, told reporters that he was still getting stronger and stronger. On his red card, Dest said it was not good but that he learned from that mistake. The US face South Korea in a friendly as they continue preparations for the 2026 World Cup.
BMW takes the reps of its new Class A iX3 electric sport utility vehicle, a key model for the German car maker that could help it reclaim some of the market share lost in its largest market, China.
The model, which will enter production at the end of the year and go on sale in Europe in March 2026 at a price of $80,700, is one of BMW's great hopes in the global market for premium electric vehicles. It is the first in a sequence of next-generation EV launches under the carmaker's branding umbrella Neo Class, German for New Class.
Ladies and gentlemen, greater electric range, faster charging, a more immersive digital experience.
Allah